I am so excited for today's video. Again, I know, I say this every single time, but I really am excited every time I film. So today is a much requested video. We are going to compare Seint Official and our Amazon Cream Makeup dupe. I'm going to use a technique that Seint Official has deemed as, I believe, the cheetah hack, and that's just dotting everything on and then we'll blend. So I'm going to use this Amazon brush, I'll link it down below, for the Amazon side, which will give Seint Official the harder side for coverage just because I know how it's going to work and I want to kind of give Amazon a little leg up and a little help. And to make it even, we're also going to use the same primer on both sides, and I decided to use the E.L.F. Power Grip Primer. It is quite sticky. It's a really good base. There's no silicone in it, and it really just helps to get that stick from my creams. Let's start with our Amazon side. I'm going to start off with the lightest colors first. So I'm going to use this as my under eye. So we're just going to dot it on. The nose is kind of hard just because I like to brighten up the center. So I think I'm going to use this more on the tip, and then Seint I'll put in the middle. And again, we'll do the same on the Cupid's bow and the chin. We're going to go into the all over shade, which is more of this yellowish. I almost want to mix the two to get my shade, so I'm going to do that because last time it was a little too yellow. So I'm just going to go back and forth and put that in a couple other places. I know I'm going to put my contour here and my blush up here, so I'm avoiding those areas. Let's go ahead and do blush right here. I'm going to use the contour shade, which is right here. And I think I'm also going to use this shade right here as like a bronzer. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in certain spots like that. For the Seint side, I'm going to use pretty similar colors, and I decided to use my eyeshadow brush just because it has a similar end, the Amazon brush that I used. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to start off with my brighter shade. We're going to go into my all over. And I will list my shades down below as well, so that way if you are similar in color, we can kind of compare and you can get an idea of what color I use. This brush is a little bit smaller. I was going to color correct my dark spot, but I think I'm just going to leave it just so you can see the coverage that you would get. So I'm just putting my all over color. Am I looking like a cheetah yet? I'm going to go ahead and put my blush, which is this shade right here. Same exact spot. I think this one's a little bit more peachy, but that's all right. We don't have to be exact. Contour. Let's put that on. For my bronzer though, I'm kind of intrigued. Yeah, see, even my contour, I like a little bit darker of a contour. You're not gonna get that with the Amazon one, but you can still get more of a shadow effect. And lastly, for Seint, we're gonna go into the bronzer, which this one I'm going to mix these two shades again. Now that we have this cheetah look, let's start blending it out. I think I'm going to go ahead and start blending with the Amazon side. So I'm just going to use this Amazon brush. I have a very similar brush for Seint. So I'm going to start off with my lighter colors. All right, so here we have the Amazon side blended out. Now, if you wanted to, you could add more to darken this up if you want more of a full coverage. This is when I would start adding into it. So like for my under eyes, I kind of like a little bit more coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and go back in, and I'm going to dip into the lighter one that I used for my brightener shade, and just kind of apply that. You can see that really brightened it up. All right, now let's blend out our Seint side. And for Seint, I'm going to use this brush right here since it's very similar to the Amazon brush. And we're going to do the same thing. Start out with the lighter shades. I do have to say that Seint is already more of a full coverage compared to the Amazon. The Amazon is more lighter coverage, so you would have to build it up more if you want more of that medium to full coverage. If you just want a light coverage, not a big deal. I'm going to zoom in so you can see the difference between both of them. I definitely think that the Seint side is more full coverage than the Amazon side. And again, like if you want more of a darker contour, now's where I would do it. I feel like they both blend really, really well and seamlessly. It really depends on coverage. So if you want more of that full coverage first go round, I would say Seint won this one. If you want more of a light coverage and you don't mind building it up, then you can use the Amazon. But other than that, pretty similar. And also, I do have to point out again, Seint, you can get fully customized to you. Whereas with Amazon, I believe there's only 2 color options available. So that is a downside, meaning they're not gonna have your exact color, but maybe you can mess around with the colors to get what you need. All right, so here's where we're at. I did my brows and I did my bottom lashes. I have been going back and forth on whether or not I wanna do powders. And I think the answer is yes, because it is still summertime and it is still pretty warm. So I feel like that's the best way to really test everything out. So we're gonna do the Amazon powders on this side and then my normal powders on this side, and that'll still give us a really good look as to how the makeup will last. I'm gonna start off with the Amazon side. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do my under eyes first. So I'm gonna use this banana powder. I don't really have a banana powder for the other side though, so I think I'm just gonna do it on both. Let's see, for contour, I'm gonna go into this shade right here and just set, we'll blend it out in a second. I'm gonna set where I had contour on the Amazon side. For blush, I'm gonna go in with the Lorac, and I'm just gonna use this lighter shade up here. And it's called Peach Fuzz. I'm also gonna use it on the other side, just not quite yet. I did do a wear test on the Amazon makeup alone, and it really wore quite nicely. I had no issues with it, so that's wonderful. I'm gonna go into this one for my all over shade. Like I really had no issues at all. It lasted all day and didn't really wear funny or have any issues. It was definitely an A+ in my mind. I brought out my Rimmel Stay Matte, so I'm gonna use that in my normal areas. And again, this is stuff that I know works really well with Seint, so I've never had issues with it before. Works great, love it. For the bronzer, I'm going to, I thought I had contour, but I don't. So I'm gonna go into just my Ulta bronzer. For blush, I'm gonna use Peach Fuzz again, just so that we match. And plus it's Lorelai's blush and I love her blush. Let's set this with the Ruby Kisses setting spray. I'm still not a fan of the smell of this setting spray, but I do like the product and the mister itself. So pros and cons. And the smell does go away, which helps. We have the completed look. So we have Seint on this side and Ruby Kisses, the Amazon dupe, on this side. I feel like if I was out, nobody would be able to tell a difference, especially me. Like I would probably forget which side I did. They both look really, really good. I would just say that the pros and cons of each. The pros of Seint, number one, you are color matched to you. So the colors are gonna match exactly as you need. Whereas the Amazon side, you kind of have to mix and match to get your exact shade, or you can just deal with what you have and you may be a little more yellow or a little more pink. It just depends on your skin tone. The con of Seint is that the price point on each, so your each tint on Seint is going to be $14. I believe they actually went up to $16. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check and put it on the screen here. Whereas the Amazon one was, I believe, $5.99 or $6.99 for all those shades. But you will have to buy a brand new palette if you ran out. Whereas Seint, you would get just one tin, and that tin's gonna last you a lot longer. So each have their pros and cons. It's really just up to you. If you're not sure if you're gonna like Seint and you just wanna test out creams, I would definitely recommend checking out the Amazon dupe. I think that it is very, very similar in nature to the product. The only real difference is that you'll have to build it up for a more medium to full coverage. But if you like a lighter coverage, then just doing the cheetah hack method, which is what I did, would work no problem for you. I know that's a lot of information, and I hope that that all made sense. If you have any questions, please, please, please don't hesitate to just comment them down below and I'll get back to you. You can also message me over on Instagram and ask me your questions there as well. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that you have a wonderful week wherever you are. I will see you next time. Bye.